Greetings and a warm welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today we're working through trauma. And now, if I'm right, at least 99% of us have trauma or have experienced something in the past that affects us today. And now what trauma is on a basic level in a nutshell is it's an event that happens when you are much younger, much more vulnerable, and are unable to understand, process, or make sense of a situation that is happening to you. There are many forms of trauma, and it can cause a lot of issues with mental health and development and growth and healing and personal development and setting goals. Trauma is something that I would explain as a dark cloud. No matter how sunny it is out, no matter how amazing the day is, there's always this cloud that follows you. And it's always gray and it's always raining, no matter how sunny the day is. And trauma is something that we don't always just experience in our childhoods. Look, we are more receptive to trauma in our childhood, but we can experience trauma at any stage in life. Abusive relationships, things that happen in life, other people, dangerous situations. And trauma can be a result of bullying, judging a person, shaming a person, singling them out. And often what trauma does is it breaks down the self. It destructs the self. And the thing about trauma is when we start to do very well in life and we're healing and we're growing and we're doing great, but all of this trauma from the past starts to flood our minds. And we don't understand, okay, I'm doing so well. Why am I struggling with this old trauma? And that's because this is one of the functions of the subconscious. It will literally repress your trauma if you are too young, too vulnerable. And then when you are doing well at a later stage of your life, it will present the trauma to you thinking that you are well enough and strong enough and old enough to deal with it. And then what you do based on what the subconscious presents you is up to you. But I would suggest this is your sign to heal. And trauma is only a result of a relation to the past, meaning that we have made from events in the past. Trauma is something that is very much past based, because it's something that builds up and builds up. Usually when trauma happens, it's a repetitive thing. Not always, I'm not saying always, but a lot of the time it is repetitive if you are living with an abuser. But sometimes events in themselves can be significant enough to be traumatic without being repetitive. But trauma is a relation to what happened to the past. It's what you're feeling now based on what happened to you in the past. And trauma often has to do with rejection and abandonment, being shamed, being judged, being excluded, being left alone, being neglected. And often when we are rejected in our earlier childhood, it makes us believe that we are wrong and we are bad. And when we are abandoned, we learn that we are not worthy of love and unconditional love. We are not looked after. We are not supported in our development. And that in itself can be very traumatic for a lot of people. And the thing is with trauma Trauma often has to do with resentment, when someone has hurt you so badly in your past that you hate them, you detest them, you wish nothing but the worst onto them because of what they've done to you. And trauma does that. And trauma is also a result of loss. When you lose something really important in your life, if you lose something that was very valuable to you, if you lose a person, if someone passes away, if someone breaks off a relationship. So resentment and loss is a huge part of trauma. Holding this bitter grudge and always being in a place of lacking. And trauma can create multiple mental health disorders, including anxiety, depression, eating disorders, and personality disorders. It's a way of disconnecting and taking control over something else. So trauma is often one of the root causes of the development of mental illness, when the psyche cannot handle what's going on. So it splits, it dissociates, it disconnects. And that is when your mental disorders are very much a result of past trauma, neglect, rejection, and abandonment. And trauma can completely ruin a person's sense of self-worth. I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, because you weren't unconditionally loved, because you weren't supported through your mistakes, you weren't encouraged through your growth and your development. So your worth really takes a plummet through trauma. And it also ruins the prospects of positive future outcomes, because you say to yourself, I don't expect more than what I've had, because that's just how my life is. That's how it's affected me. My trauma is the reason I am who I am today. But if you keep thinking like that, you're not going to have positive memories. You're not going to make positive meaning, and it's going to ruin the chances of your opportunities and for you to have good, favorable outcomes in life, because you just expect the same that you've had in the past in your present, and that is damaging to your future. And trauma makes moving on very difficult, because it's difficult to let some things go. It's difficult to work through some things. And I understand that people have had the most abhorrent traumas, the worst things done to them. But if we don't keep moving forward, we're moving backwards, and we're allowing that trauma to take a hold of us. So moving on when you have trauma is difficult, but it's extremely necessary. And the problem is with people who have been very heavily traumatized, who have not been able to deal with it, seek security. They want to feel safe all the time. They want to feel secure all the time. But that is what makes you stagnant. It keeps you stuck, complacent in the same place. Even though you're not happy, you're comfortable because you have a sense of security. But life is about risk. And risk is the only way we grow and we can heal. And our comfort zone is what's going to smother us at the end of the day. And as a result of trauma, a lot of people have not learned what a healthy relationship is. And as a result, they get into codependent relationships. I'm only okay if you're okay. I can only do something if you say it's okay. And they get into very toxic relationships because people who are heavily traumatized have not learned what a healthy relationship is, what it means to be supported, loved, and encouraged without all the abuse. At the end of the day, trauma is a poison to the psyche. It's going to keep you replaying the same events over and over, not moving forward, only moving back. It causes mental distress, so you are always a bit uncomfortable or a bit sad or a bit upset, and it causes emotional dysregulation, so you're very up and down with your emotions. And trauma makes you operate out of a place of fear. Grow in your inner strength, grow in your resilience, and know that your trauma does not define you or your future outcomes. How do you relate? So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.